Today, we are going to uncover what the future holds for the real estate market in Des Moines in 2024. In my professional opinion, obviously no one can predict the future with full certainty, but we have plenty of data available to us right now that can give us a really good idea of what to expect. So if you are considering buying, selling, investing in real estate in 2024, or if you're just curious what the housing market is doing in central Iowa, then you are in the right place. I am just going to be sharing my screen right here in front of me. That's why I'm just lasered in on this for most of this video, because there's a lot of data and this is going to be the simplest way to present it. So before I jump into predicting what the market is going to do, I want to first touch on what the market is doing right now. So for the last 5 years or so, we have been struggling with a supply and demand imbalance, and it's getting better. So if you bought a home in like 2020, 21, or 22, you know how hard it was. And that is because there was such little supply and there were so many people that wanted homes. That's economics 101. Months of inventory is a metric we use in real estate that measures the relation of the supply of houses available to the demand of people out looking for homes. And so as this number gets higher, it gets better for home buyers. There are more months of inventory. The supply and demand imbalance is better. So we are right now, as it stands, in the most recent month we have available, in December, it came in at 3.5, which is exactly what it was in December of 2018, which is before everything went to crap, right before COVID. So we are improving a lot from where we were in 2022, and also we're higher in terms of months of inventory than we were in December of 2023 as well. So we're moving in the right direction. And now if you just look at the last 7 days, we have seen more houses get accepted offers than new homes have been listed. So that would indicate that we're headed back in the opposite direction towards a more imbalanced supply and demand. But this is not too uncommon for January. Something I'll keep an eye on though, and I'll update you if this trend continues. If we see multiple weeks in a row of new listings being significantly less than the number of homes with accepted offers, that is going to signify that the spring market is going to get really tough again for buyers, like it was a couple of years ago when you saw months of inventory down here, like closer to 1, which is just insane. Buyer activity is starting to pick up a little bit too. A really good indicator of this is the number of mortgage applications. This tracks changes in the amount of mortgage applications filed across the United States, the number of people applying for loans, starting their home search process. So over the last 3 weeks in a row, we've seen very steady, considerable increase in the number of people applying for loans. That translates directly to people out there shopping for homes. And Iowa is a very seasonal market too. So as we get more into the spring, we can see this very clearly over the last 5 years and even further back, but I'm going to keep it at 5 for now. Slows down in the winter and then picks up in the spring. In 2020, slowed down in the winter, a little bit goofy with everything that was going on worldwide, but then it picked up again in the spring and summer. Then it slowed down just a tiny bit in the winter, picked up in the spring, slowed down, picked up, slowed down, picked up, slowed down, and it's definitely going to pick up again. So that is what we're heading into. That's what we've always had in Iowa in terms of seasonality. There have been some discrepancies when the Fed was messing with their federal funds rate a lot, affecting interest rates when there was a global pandemic. But for the most part, this is what we have seen, and it's what we're going to continue to see in terms of the seasonality of the Iowa market. All right, there are other factors influencing our real estate market as well. The interest rate lock-in effect is super interesting, pun not intended. But so the Fed raised interest rates indirectly in order to slow the housing market because it was getting out of control. Like I was showing you back in 2020, 2021, 2022, it was insane. If you bought a home at that time, you remember that, how hard it was. My wife and I bought our house in 2022. We would write an offer on a $250,000 house and there would be someone bidding $25,000 over the asking price. It was just insane. But what we're seeing though is at that period of time, interest rates were closer to 3 to 4%. And 62% of Americans right now have an interest rate below 4%. 82% have an interest rate below 5%. And with interest rates sitting at close to 7%, what you have is all these people in their homes who would maybe consider moving or downsizing, but their interest rate is so low that it just doesn't make sense to. And then there's people not listing their homes for sale, which further hurts our supply issue in addition to the economic hardships that builders are facing with interest rates. And that is keeping supply low, and demand is not changing. That's having a big impact on our housing market right now, where all these people who would otherwise be moving, listing their homes for sale, are not. And so it's continuing to support the seller's market by keeping supply low when demand is still staying steady. We also have a very strong economy in Des Moines. In terms of our GDP growth, we outpace almost every other city of similar size, even some that are higher size than ours. So Des Moines is this red line here. Every other city like Columbus, Portland, Omaha, Nashville, just kind of a weird mixed bag of places, but we are outpacing all of those. Our unemployment rate is very low. We're ranked 94 out of like 500 metros in the US, and a lot of people are moving to Des Moines because of the affordability of living here. It draws a lot of people in, so does the job market, and when there are more people moving to your city than there are moving out, that again impacts supply and demand. You're probably noticing a theme. Supply and demand is the name of the game when it comes to today's housing market. This is nothing shocking or revolutionary. It's a pretty boring prediction. I think we're going to see steady home price growth. So we're going to see continued like 5% year over year home price growth. That's going to pick up a lot in the spring again, as it has seasonally for the past forever in Iowa, but it's going to be very, very interest rate dependent. I know there's some people saying that interest rates are going to drop below 6% this year, like Fannie Mae. They're a big predictor of interest rates. There are also some people who think they're going to raise a little bit. If interest rates drop, it's going to be a catch-22 for buyers where, yes, you have more buying power, but you're also competing against 10 other people to buy your house. We're going to see a market that looks closer to here than one that is more normal and more balanced. But on the flip side, if interest rates rise, there's going to be less buyers out looking. There's also going to be less homes for sale because that interest rate lock-in effect is going to be stronger. And this really has a huge impact ultimately on affordability. So our affordability is stuck in the hands of supply and demand right now. It's going to cause stress for home buyers regardless. But buying a house is not a bad idea in 2024. I want to make that very clear. You need to be careful. It's going to be harder in some months in the spring than it is in others. On the flip side of that, for sellers, I would advise if you're considering selling your home, the spring is going to be the time to do it like it has been over the last 5 years. That's not to say a strong home sale is not possible in other months. It's just the data is just more in your favor in the spring. And for buyers, again, you just need to be careful. If you buy a house in 2024, even though it's a strong seller's market, you're not going to get screwed by any means. You just have to be careful and make sure you think about what the future holds for you, knowing that are you going to live there for at least 3 years? Because that's definitely how long you're going to need to stay there in order to see an increase in home equity that's going to offset the costs of owning the home. So those are my predictions for 2024. Again, nothing revolutionary, nothing insane, but I hope this was valuable for you. And if there's anything I can do for you, I get calls on a very regular basis from people from all over moving to Des Moines, and I absolutely love it. So if there's anything I can do to help you, if you're looking for a house in the Des Moines metro, I'd love to hear from you. My phone number's on the screen. There's also plenty of more videos like this on my YouTube channel. So check those out, and I'll see you guys on the next one.